Hey traders, it's John Fortune here with this week's weekly Forex forecast for the 23rd of July to the 27th of July 2018. I have a very important message for you all, a very important update, and that is that you may have already seen on the channel. I have uploaded a video recently just explaining this, that I will be leaving Portex this month, in fact, at the end of this week. And I just wanted to let you guys know that the name of the channel will be changing from Portex Academy Forex to Top Forex Targets. Now what that means is, guys, it means at the beginning of August the name is going to change from Portex Academy Forex to Top Forex Targets. All the content, including the weekly Forex forecast, will continue on this channel. Only the name of the channel is going to change, and there's not going to be any need to resubscribe to anything or do anything like that. Okay, it's just so that when you come into August, you might not be able to find this channel by searching for Portex Academy Forex, because the name will have changed to Top Forex Target. So I'm just giving you a couple of weeks, guys, just to get used to the adjustment and to write down the name coming into August for those of you who like to follow the forecast. So with that, we're going to continue, as we always do, looking at the key levels of support and resistance in the markets for the coming week. And we're going to be highlighting some of the targets as well that we're looking for in the coming weeks ahead. So let's jump over to the charts and see where the money is this week. As always, starting with the US dollar index. Now, last week we were sitting in this area and we were looking for a pullback towards the 94.22, and as long as we stayed above the 94.22, we're looking for this rally into the top of the range here at the 95.47. You can see we did actually get this before selling off. We now come into a position where we're still inside this range in the dollar index. We would be looking preferably now for a retest of the 94.22, and if we get this kind of price action pulling back to the 94.22, or if we come straight down like this, this is going to once again be a great place to start to look for bullish formations and patterns, and looking for another rally into the top of the range here at the 95.47. Just bear in mind, guys, because we're in a range, we may end up pulling back like this and the dollar may be pretty neutral before we come down, or we may come straight down. So what it means is, although we are looking for a potential move back into the 94.22 for another rally to the top of the range, we are going to be treating this as neutral, and we're going to be trading the individual pairs on their own merit without a strong bias in the dollar one way or the other. Next we have crude oil. Now last week we started the week having broken down below key support at 72.53, and we were looking for further declines down in towards the 67.15. You can see this was the target set from last week, and we took it out right to the pip. This is also a key area of support, so very simply put, as we start the week above key area of support at the 67.15, this is a great place to start to look for bullish formations and patterns. We're going to be looking at initiating longs above the 67.15 up towards the next key area of resistance to the upside and the target set at the 72.53. So the first pair we're going to look at is euro dollar. Now last week we started the week below broken support, looking to turn resistance to the 1.17189, and we were looking for a pullback and a retest of this area for potential declines in the euro dollar. You can see we did actually get a retest of this area and a decline in the euro dollar. However, at the end of last week, all of these declines were actually eaten up, as the US President Donald Trump said he was not overly happy with the rate of rises in the interest rates in the US. So we had this pulling back up, and we have this retest in the 1.17189. We start the week at this area, just below this area here. So very simply put, wouldn't consider this a real break just as yet. This is more of a test. If we get in this area now, bearish formations and patterns that start to emerge at the opening of the week, we're going to start to look once again to initiate shorts in the euro dollar, and we're going to be looking at initiating shorts down towards the next key area of support to the downside at the 1.15184, and if we get a breakthrough here, down towards the next key area of support to the downside at the 1.14422. Now you can see, because the euro makes up around 57% of the dollar index, the choppiness and the range in the dollar index is actually now being reflected in the euro dollar, and we're getting this kind of choppy markets. So just something to bear in mind. Next, we have pound dollar. Now, last week, pound dollar was another nice performing market. It came down, took out both key areas of support to the downside at the 1.3041 and the 1.2998, which were the two targets from last week. And when we took out those targets, we actually bounced, as I imagine profit taking came in, and we have this rally. So very simply put, as we start the week below broken support, looking to turn resistance up at the 1.3213. If we get a pullback and a retest, especially if we get a retest of this area, and for those of you who like trend lines, you can see we have a bit of a confluence area over here as well. If we get a pullback and a retest of the 1.3213, this is going to be a great place to once again start to look for bearish formations and patterns. And we're going to be looking at initiating shorts in the pound dollar down towards the next key area of support to the downside and target set at the 1.2920. Next, we have US dollar Japanese yen. Now, last week we were looking for a pullback and a retest of broken resistance turning support at the 111.364. We did get a little bit of a push higher, and then you can see we ended up with this bit of a double top pattern. We ended up coming all the way back down, and we finished the week just tagging almost to the pip the key area of broken resistance turning support at the 111.364. So very simply put, going into this week, this is a great place to start to look for bullish formations and patterns. And if we get the right kind of bullish formations and patterns in this area, we're going to be looking at initiating longs up towards the next key area of resistance to the upside and the target set at the 113.086. Next, we have Aussie dollar. Now, last week we started the week up in this area. There was a key area of support and resistance to the 0.74089, which is no longer valid. And we were looking for further declines down towards the key area of support down here at the 0.7311. We came within pips of this, and then of course we had those comments by the sitting US president, which rallied the Aussie dollar to the upside as we had a slight weakening in the US dollar. So very simply put, going into this week, you can see again the range in the dollar index is being reflected here in the Aussie dollar. Very, very choppy markets, a little bit more tricky to trade these markets. It's much nicer when they're trending, but it is what it is. We have these choppy markets. If we get a pullback and a retest of broken support turning resistance, once again, just as we did over here at the 0.74770, this is going to be a great place to start to once again look for bearish formations and patterns. And we're going to be looking at initiating shorts down towards the range bottom here in the target set at the 0.73111. Next, we have the New Zealand dollar. Now, last week we were looking for further declines in the New Zealand dollar coming down, and we took out the target to the pip here at the 0.67110 as we had this decline. And very simply put, you can see once again the kind of choppy market here reflected from the choppiness in the US dollar index. So very similar to the Aussie dollar, we're going to be looking for a potential pullback and a retest of the 0.68500. And if we get another retest of broken support turning resistance to the 0.68500. This is going to be a great place once again to start to look for bearish formations and patterns, looking for a decline into the key area of support at the 0.67110. And of course, if we get a breakthrough here and we start to trend, we're going to be looking down towards the next key area of support to the downside and target set at the 0.65900. Next, we have the US dollar franc. Now, the choppiness in the US dollar index is also being reflected in the US dollar franc, perhaps more than any other currency pair at the moment. But very simply put, as we start the week below the 0.99627, we're looking for further declines in the US dollar franc. If we get a pullback and a retest of broken support turning resistance, this is going to be a great place to start to look for bearish formations and patterns. We're going to be looking at initiating shorts down towards the target and the next key area of support to the downside at the 0.98954. And if we can get a breakthrough here, we're going to be looking down towards the next key area of support to the downside and target 2 at the 0.97909. Next, we have US dollar CAD. Now, last week, US dollar CAD was a fantastic performing pair. We started the week right at a key area of support, which is no longer valid, and we traded straight into the target set up here at the 1.32580 before having this big decline off of the back of Donald Trump's comments. Now, going into this week, very simply put, as we start the week below broken support turning resistance at the 1.32157, we're looking for further declines, and if we can get a pullback and a retest of the key area of broken support turning resistance to 1.32157. This is going to be a great place to start to look for bearish formations and patterns. And we're going to be looking at initiating shorts down towards the next key area of support to the downside and target set at the 1.30640. And if we get a breakthrough here, we're going to be looking down towards the next key area of support to the downside and target 2 at the 1.29177. And finally, we have gold. Now, gold did come down and take out the target set at the 1215.41 last week. And we got a bounce from this area. And we are now making our way back towards broken support, looking to turn resistance at the 1237.69. So very simply put, if we get a pullback, and especially if we get a retest of broken support turning resistance to 1237.69, this is going to be a great place to start to look for bearish formations and patterns. And we're going to be looking back down towards the target set from last week in the key area of support to the downside at the 1215.41. And if we get a breakthrough here this time, we're going to be looking down towards the next key area of support to the downside and target 2 at the 1205.12. So that is it from me for this week, guys. As always, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please let me know by liking, sharing and subscribing. Don't forget the important notice that the name of this channel will be changing at the start of August from Portex Academy Forex to Top Forex Targets. So if you are searching for the channel and you go in and you're not subscribed, for example, and you find the channel or the forecast by searching the name Portex Academy Forex, you may not be able to find it after the end of this month, and you may need to search for Top Forex Targets instead. So I'll keep you updated as new developments come, guys. I hope you all have a fantastic weekend, and a big thank you to those of you who have all subscribed and who comment on this channel on a regular basis. Have a great weekend. Have a great week next week. And as always, don't forget to trade safely.